When you live in a small town, everyone knows where you've been and what you have done. I've been trying to leave this old town since I...
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. I'm Zeta.
And I'm Kelly. And you're listening to
Two Sides and the Truth.
Okay, we're going to call this part of the podcast Ramblin Women.
Ramblin Women.
Ramblin Women.
Because that's what we intend to do.
That's exactly the
I
direction
hope
we're
that
heading
you
in.
can keep up.
Yeah, we don't even... Kelly kind of knows what she's talking about.
Sometimes.
I am just going to wing this shit right here. Winging, rambling women.
Well,
Say
see,
that 3 times fast.
The thing is, I have so much that I want to catch up with you on because I actually haven't been able to like sit and talk to you.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot that has happened that I've had to actually start talking to my therapist more. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I was like, girl, I just missed you. She's like, okay.
Zeta's been busy.
Are you on probation?
Yeah. What's going on?
Do we need is this court mandated? No, girl, I really just missed you. And I need you to tell me how to not lose my mind.
I'm probably not the best person because I've lost mine years ago, but let's try. Let's see, what we can talk about.
All right, so tell me something.
Okay, so we have an upcoming cold front here in Texas.
Oh my gosh!
I think it's all of
we
the
do
East
need to talk
Coast
about
down
this.
into Texas.
Everybody, the toilet paper is about to disappear.
The Fritos. The Fritos are gone.
They're
There's going to be no toilet paper, Fritos, milk, eggs, or bread. That's always what goes first. And in other states, I don't think Fritos are a thing, but here, Fritos are like the first thing to go. Yeah. So
people get making them chili.
Right. So on the way home Friday from work, I was like, I need to go get some Fritos because I really want some chili if it's cold. It's in my blood.
Typical Texan right here.
It's in my blood.
Exhibit A, ladies and gentlemen.
And to make it even more Texan, I prefer H-E-B brand Fritos. Like their chips are better than
they are
than
superior.
Lay's even.
They're superior.
Sorry, Lay's. But I mean, I'm Texan. So I was like, I got to get the H-E-B because I got to get the H-E-B brand.
Yeah.
And so on my way home, I'm from work yesterday. I stopped and got 1 bag of Fritos and 2 of the chili mixes that I like because I'm going to make my dad some chili and take it to him tomorrow. And I was like, I'm so damn... I like laughed at myself. I was like, I'm so fucking Texan. I even posted a picture of it on social media like, y'all, I'm prepared. I didn't need the milk. What are you going to make? Are you going to make like a egg Frito sandwich?
Maybe.
And a cup of milk? Is that what
we're going to
do?
try it? We're going to try it.
So I'm preparing for it. And then today, before you got here, I was like, okay, I got to prepare for the apocalyptic winter and get some things together. So, because this will be our first cold snap of the year. Yeah. And I have all these great plants that I pulled into the garage the other day, but I don't want them to die. And I think it's going to get too cold in the garage. So I had to go buy them their own heater.
You're such a good plant, Mama.
I mean, I didn't want anything to happen to George or Paul or Ringo.
No, heaven forbid something happen.
And John either, I guess. And so I was like, well, I also need to get hay for these outdoor kitties to give them a shot in hell that, because, I'm that person. I'm a crazy cat lady. So I went and did that. And then I just kept ending up different random places when I was supposed to just go to Home Depot originally. And the next thing you know, I'm all over the place. So I go back to H-E-B today because I realized that I need something else for the chili. And I go in there and I run into everyone I know. And I ran into, Ellis County has like a local weather guy. He has a Facebook page. And he's just like this guy from Waxahachie that just does this for fun.
Do you know what his name is?
I got to think about it. No.
We'll circle back.
He doesn't go by his name on there. He has his own little page.
He has a stage name?
He has a page that's like weather, North Texas weather something. And anyway, so he just concentrates on Ellis County. He's not all weather. He's Ellis County. And he's so accurate. Well, as I'm in the grocery store, I pass him. He's in the grocery store. And I sure the hell
because he knows what's coming.
I was like, let me look in his basket and see if he's got Fritos, bread, milk, or eggs. I look in there. He hadn't really gotten to the point that any of those things would be there yet, though, because I started thinking about it, and I was like, wait, he just left the meat aisle. The only thing he'll have picked up yet is chili supplies, like the meat. I looked in there. There was some chili meat in there. So he knows what's up. He knows what's up. I'm just saying, we're going to be prepared in Texas. And so that's, I guess that's my first rambling.
Well, I hope everybody makes it through this.
Well, you know what's funny is right before we started recording.
I'll be praying for you guys.
Right before we started recording, I told you that I listened to one of our old episodes. I like to listen to old episodes just to kind of see what we've done before and what worked, whatever. So I listened to one from about a year ago this week. I don't remember exactly which week of the month it was in January, but one of those. And we were supposed to we had just gotten a cold front, and it was supposed to ice. And so they shut the city down. And remember, it did not ice. And
But everybody was shut down.
Everybody shut down. And so you and I recorded like a day or two later, and the entire podcast, we had a different term for the great not storm, the entire podcast. And I thought, oh my God, round 2, this might happen again.
We'll see.
But I'm ready for it if it's coming. And Rick's going to Houston for the week for work. So it's just me and the kids. I was like, I got to get this shit together.
Yeah, we got to batten down the hatches.
I'm going to be the person in charge.
That is so scary.
I know.
That's always a scary scenario when I have to be the adult in the room. I'm like, wait, hold on. I'm like checking the exits. Hold on.
I love the fact that he's 6 years younger than me. But when he moved in with me, I was like, I don't have to be in charge anymore. This is awesome. I am so tired of being in charge. I'm tired. It's hard. It's a lot.
It's a lot of mental,
Yes.
Man.
So I have no problem with my man being in charge. No problem. As long as he's not bossy and
same.
And he is, but he lets me ignore him.
Yeah. Well, I do a lot of that too. So
yeah, I'm like, oh, you said something.
I'm always like in my own little world.
Yeah, he likes it. He likes that I push back. If I would actually behave like that, he would be like, no, he needs a little.
I think everybody does.
Yeah, because I'm like, no, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, everybody needs a little bit of that.
He loves it.
I'm like, fine, I will.
Yeah, he loves it. Some days he doesn't. Some days he pouts a little bit. For the most part, he loves it. It's part of my charm.
We love you, Rick.
We do love you. All right, what else have you?
Okay, one thing that I haven't got to talk about is I finally got some ink, which I've been needing to get some new ink. But the past, so last year I was supposed to get a tattoo every month, and that was my goal for the year. And technically, if you're talking about the number of tattoos I got, so if I was going to end up with 12 tattoos, I still passed.
Yeah, because you got 4 in 1 month.
I got 4 in my birthday month. So I got the number of tattoos I was supposed to get, but I did not uphold the getting one every single month because I dropped off there at the end, which I tend to do with most things. And I didn't get tattooed like a couple of months in a row. And so, I didn't get anything on the last Friday the 13th. And I usually always get something on Friday the 13th. So we had one last Friday the 13th and it was in December. And so I was like, I can't miss this one. I have to get. It's Friday the 13th. It's the last month of the year. Let's go out with a bang. So I was like, I don't care what happens. I'm getting a tattoo today. It was on Friday the 13th. I was like, I'm going to go to the tattoo shop and I'm going to leave that tattoo shop with something on my body. I don't care what it is. I don't care how small it is. It's going to happen. And so I went with that mindset. And so I went to Tattoo Guild here in downtown Waxahachie, which used to be Ink Masters. Kyle was the owner of Ink Masters, and he was also with a sister shop that was Tattoo Guru. So they joined the shops together and are now the Tattoo Guild in downtown Waxahachie. Amazing artists, highly recommend. So I go, and the last time I was going to get a tattoo, because I still hadn't at this point gotten a tattoo from the guild since they merged over. And so the last Friday the 13th, I actually went in and looked, but I didn't find anything I wanted. I was going to be meeting people and getting, a group, thing going on, but I ended up being just by myself. So I talked myself out of it.
Oh.
Which I'll tend to do sometimes if I'm just like, nobody's like making me and I'm not making myself. So I didn't get one last Friday the 13th. But this time I was like, I don't care, I'm getting one. So I walk in and all the artists are there. So like they just opened up, but there's nobody else there, just all the artists. So I was like, oh, nice.
That's the best time to go.
I know. That's why I like try to plan it that way. So I walk in and Kyle's wife is working the front, and I can't remember her name, but that's me with names. So she shows me the flash, and I'm like, okay, I'm looking at the flash. A couple of things are popping out at me. There's some cute, like, December-themed ones. But in the back of my mind, I really wanted Naughty and Nice script. And I didn't know where I wanted it at, but I knew I wanted the word naughty and the word nice. And I really wanted it on my knees. Like, that's where that was my first, but I didn't know how big. And that was just a thought. I hadn't even thought more of that. But I was like, if I can't get that, that's a script, and I really want it to look nice. And so if it's not something that they would be able to do, I'm just going to go with something small, Christmas themed. But right as I'm looking, Kyle comes around the corner. He's like walking outside, and he notices me, and he says hi, and I say hi to him, and he asks us if I'm getting flash. And I'm like, yeah, I think so. I'm going to look. He's like, well, if there's not something on there and you really want, just let me know. We can do it. I was like, we got the time. I was like, well, and so I told him I really want the words naughty and nice, a script. Could we do that? And he's like, yeah, sure. So we go back, and he like prints out a stencil, like just an outline to get it going. And he puts it on and then he's like, well, where's this going? And I was like, well, I don't know. I have two places in mind, either my knees or the back of my throat, right under my butt. I was like, I don't know which one I want to go with. And so I was like, so you can choose. And he calls his wife over, and he gives her his vote, basically. And he's like, you got to choose. And she's like, oh, well, I think you should do it under your butt because I have one there. I was like, you do? She's like, yeah. I was like, can I see it? And she's like, yeah, sure. So she like takes me into the bathroom. She tells Kyle, she's like, I'm going to show her my tattoos real quick. He's like, okay. And so we go into the bathroom. She shows me hers that she has underneath her butt cheeks, and they are so cute. I love it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, now I'm still, I don't know, because my vote was my knees.
Yeah.
Her vote was under the butt cheeks. And so we go back out, and he's like, okay, so what's it going to be? I was like, you still have to break the tie. I was like, I want and he's like, which one do you want? I was like, my first thought was on my knees.
Yeah.
I was like, but I really like under the butt cheeks too. That's so cute. And so he was like, well, let me put the stencil on your knees since that's what you want. And so he puts it on, and I love it. I think it's so cute. Well, then he has another artist that is working with him at the time, and his name is Mr. Grouch, and I love that. That's what if you go on Instagram, like his little pictures is the Grouch.
Oh,
It has his own little cartoon thing. It's so cute. Well, he is from California, and he does script, you know, and so he's looking at what Kyle's doing, and Kyle asks him, hey, you want to get down on this, basically? You want to bust out some script? He's like, well, so at first he just like looks at it like, because they're trying to make it, cohesive and the same size and like flow with, the wrap, how it wraps around my, knee and everything. And so he asks Kyle, he's like, well, can I just wipe this off? Because it was just a basic script that he printed off, the internet to have a, whatever. So he's like, yeah. So he's like, Kyle, wipes it all off, and he goes and gets his pens, and he comes back and he sits in front of me, and he just goes to town. He's like, and I'm just sitting there like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Don't move a muscle. Because he just free-handed it on my legs, and it is so good. So good.
Yeah, and it's a little above your knees now. Is that where you plan? Because I feel like it's more your...
Yeah,
right?
well, the thing, I didn't know.
She's wearing tights right
I
now.
just
I can't
knew
see it.
that I wanted it on my knee. Well, I didn't want it actually on my kneecap.
Yeah.
I didn't
you
want
wanted
that.
it like above.
I wanted it above.
I like
Because I
where you
wanted
put
to
it.
be able to see it. So if I were to get down and squat down on my knees, you could read it above my knees.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted. And it's amazing that he did such an amazing job. So I got the amazing script from Mr. Grouch with something that he does so well.
Yeah.
And then Kyle tattooed it, and Kyle's lines are amazing, and he does he's so good to work with. It's just effortless for him, and so I like being tattooed by somebody who is really well at the art.
Yeah.
Because it makes it a really enjoyable, situation. I can trust them completely. I don't even have to think about what they're doing, which I prefer not to because they're touching me. So I'm like, let's just like zone out, Kelly, zone out.
It is funny how you can do that for a tattoo.
That is something we all discussed. So at times, like everybody, took turns coming over, everybody that worked there and everything. So we had a pretty big circle at one point, especially when Mr. Grouch was like, just
riding
busting it out. Like they're like, whoa, it was fun to watch. Like I was in there watching too, obviously.
Yeah.
So I had a poll going because I had asked Kyle, because he had asked me what the hardest part of getting a tattoo was. And I was like, well, the hardest part for me is being touched. I don't like to be touched. So the fact that you're having to put your hands on me to get my skin ready to get this tattoo, that is uncomfortable for me, and I don't like it. And I don't want you to do it. But I want that tattoo. I want what you're putting on my body.
Right.
I want to be able to look at it. So I'm putting that in the back of my mind, and I'm allowing you to touch my body to put this tattoo on it. And that's a lot. That's a really difficult thing for me to do.
Yeah.
Like it's very, very difficult. Like one of the hardest things I do in my life is letting people put their hands on me. And for him, this is his job. He's doing his job very well. Like he's just
touches all kinds of
out.
people.
Like it's nothing to him.
Right.
And I know that I can trust him 100%. He's an amazing guy. He would not harm me in any way.
Right.
But that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter if you're my mother or my father, my sister, my brother, my tattoo artist, my hairstylist, or some random dude off the street. I don't want anybody to touch me.
Yeah.
So
I feel you.
and he's like, wow,
to be touched.
I was like, the pain, everything else with the tattoo, that doesn't even register half the time. The only reason that it would, if like you hit a nerve or something like that, and there's some kind of involuntary reaction that I can't stop, I'm not going to move at all. Like I'm a complete rock boulder when it comes to tattoos because the pain means nothing. So I am literally fight or flight freeze. I am frozen because there's somebody with their hands on me.
Yeah. Can you talk? Are you like
And now I'm to the point where I have
you're
so many
used to it,
tattoos.
yeah.
Like that's something it's like getting my nails done.
Yeah.
Actually, getting my nails done is harder because I don't. Two of the biggest things for people touching on me is my head. You're not going to touch my face. You're not going to touch my head, and I don't like people touching my hands because I have to use my hands. Like, and if I needed to defend myself in a situation, if you got my hands, that's not a good thing. Like that makes it very difficult. So sitting and getting my nails done is one of the harder things for me to do. That's why last year I got way more tattoos than I went to the nail salon. But I asked other people too. Like I had the poll going with the artists, and I asked them. So I asked Kyle, "What's the hardest thing for you in getting a tattoo?" He didn't do it as of like him getting a tattoo, but he was talking from the point of an artist, and he said, people's skin. So that's the hardest thing for him when he's tattooing somebody is how their skin is and how it takes the ink. Oh. And so if it's like, if it's a harder skin or thicker skin or it's like scars or dry skin, like depending on the texture of the skin, how well it's going to take the tattoo and how easy it is to administer the tattoo, basically.
Right, yeah.
And I asked a couple of the different artists that came up that same question, and it's very interesting. Most people, when it's like getting a tattoo, is the pain,
right?
Or how big or whatever, where you should put it, different things. But so what if you have tattoos? I'd like to know what is the hardest part of a tattoo for you, and what is it for you, Zeta? What's the hardest part of getting a tattoo? Sitting and getting it.
It depends on the tattoo. The one on my finger, that one stung.
Yeah,
I didn't like the stinging.
The inside of the fingers does sting.
That one stung. My foot, I don't mind them usually. I can sit through them just fine. My foot, I worried I was going to kick her.
Yeah.
Because
you kick you right in the face.
You have involuntary, so I was just trying to be careful. I really was worried I was going to kick someone on that one.
Yeah.
But the pain it hurts, but I've given birth to 4 kids. It's no big deal. Tattoo pain is not a big deal. It's like like pinching me at this point.
I've been in some interesting positions, because I have them, all over my body. So that's another thing that can be a little awkward
Yeah.
is the position that you're in, and also like the skin that you have to expose.
Yeah.
Because, there's some areas that I can't have anything on because it'll get in their way, or it'll just get ink on it, or whatever the case may be. So exposing myself,
Yeah, that would be true.
can be a little.
I haven't had to do too many, but not anything too much. I mean, yeah, when I was young and I got the one on my back, I had to pull down my pants and up my shirt. I don't know.
You little hussy.
It wasn't a big deal. It was not a big deal. What do you think your stopping point is? Are you planning to do your legs now? Is this a goal? Okay.
Oh yeah. So I don't have a stopping point. I'm gonna stop either just when I just feel like it, or like I'm I'm done, which I don't know when that would be, or if I run out of room. I guess that would be another stopping point. Or if I die. That'll also be a stopping point.
All right. I was just curious.
Couple options.
I
can't do my face. I told my mother that I would never tattoo my face. That was her one request. And my parents are so sweet. I get a questions about how they are, because especially people who know that how I grew up. My father is a pastor. My mom was a youth minister. So and I grew up, very religious, and not just religious, but spiritual and just very grounded.
Yeah.
But they are amazing. They paid for my very first tattoo. The very first tattoo I ever got, I went with my father to the, bookstore and got a Hebrew to English Bible, because the first tattoo I had was a scripture in Hebrew down my back.
Yeah.
And they just love me. It's never been a problem. They've never even, I don't even think they've asked me like, how tattooed? Like, it's not like, my mom will give me a hard time. Like, okay, she can't even notice what's new anymore, because they just all blend together.
My dad he made fun of me after he figured out I really had one, because I lied about it at first. And I was 18. I just didn't want to lecture.
Yeah.
He was like, damn, that temporary tattoo's been on a long time, Zeta. And I was like, I know it's weird.
It's a new brand.
I never even told him. I was like, I know it's weird. And we both laughed. And that was it. And my brother told. And so then she started fucking with me. And I'll never forget it. We were going to Golden Triangle Mall in Denton, because she lived in Denton at the time. And my brother had told her. And he wasn't there. He had told her on the phone or something. And because you have to think, this is 1993. There weren't a lot of girls tattooed in 1993. It was a shocking thing in 93. And so my mom said, you know what, Zayda, I've been thinking about getting a tattoo. And what do you think about tattoos? And I was like, I mean, I guess if you want one, Mom. And you have to think that if at the time I'm 18, my mom was only 22 when she had me. She was in her 30s, so it wouldn't have been as weird. But I was like, Mom, I don't think that you need to get a tattoo. She was like, yeah, I was like, what are you thinking about getting? She was like, I was going to get like a big duck, like a girl mama duck, and then I was going to get 3 little baby ducks, and it would be you and your sister and your brother. And I was going to get it across my back like a tramp stamp.
A tramp stamp of
And
duck.
I was like, no, you're not, Mom. No, you're not. And she was like, why? I mean, you got a tattoo. Why can't I? Like,
I love the build-up that she did for that.
And she did a bunch of other
great.
I don't remember the whole. She was torturing me. She just was torturing. At one point, she was like, "Oh, and y'all could all get the same tattoo," and I was like, "No, Mom, I'm not getting ducklings." Oh.
You get your duck number.
It almost makes me want to get the tattoo.
Oh my gosh!
No,
Please do it.
I'm tattooed enough. I love tattoos, but at this age, I'm.
Mine would just be a lonely little baby duck.
Yeah, just you.
No ducklings.
Yeah. Well, if I did it now, it'd be her still as the mom, and I would still be the baby duckling, But yeah, no. So, but meanwhile, my dad is absolutely covered in tattoos. But he got most of his tattoos after 60. He had a few. He's had one my whole life, but for about 2 years, every time I come over, he'd have a new tattoo. He bailed his tattoo artist out of jail one time.
Now that is dedication.
I was mad at him, to be honest.
Like, I'm not missing this appointment.
I was like, seriously, you're bailing people out of jail.
I already put my deposit down, okay?
I was like, there's other tattoo artists out there, Dad. He's not even that great, okay? But anyway.
Oh, well. That's so funny.
I know, bless their heart. So I had another little thought. I actually put it on Facebook too. It was yesterday morning, and I got up early because you know me. So I got up at like 3:45 because I just woke up and couldn't go back to sleep. I know.
That was sick.
And so I got up, and that is sick. And I got up, and I go downstairs like I normally do, and I'm going to make Rick breakfast, and I get up at 4:15-ish anyways. It's not that early. But I was going to do a few extra things. So I go down there to do that, And I've run out of, my little holder for paper towels is out. So I go get another paper towel, and I'm thinking, early morning thoughts. And I'm thinking about how when I was married and after my marriage, up until, for quite a while, because even when I was married, we didn't have a lot of money because he was so bad with money. And his jobs were inconsistent, and he had a hard time keeping a job. So we were always relying on my income. And, we had little kids. We didn't have a lot of spare money. So I couldn't afford paper towels as an adult until I was in my late 30s, really. Because I'd go to the grocery store, and I just couldn't bring myself to buy paper towels when I was getting less of this food or less of that food. Like, I didn't want to take away from a grocery thing. Mm-hmm. So instead I always used cup towels, which I know that's environmentally, or dish towels, some people call them. But I know that's more environmentally conscious, and that's probably what I should be using. But you know what? A girl wants some paper towels, okay? And so I always thought to myself, when I can go into the store and I can buy myself paper towels and not worry about it, or buy myself a big thing of paper towels, like the mama, and not think about it, then I know I'm doing okay. And it doesn't have anything to do with it. Yeah, and I'm not saying I'm rich or whatever, because I'm not. What I'm saying is, it makes you realize how much less stressed you are. Money can't buy you, happiness. That's absolutely true. But I'm going to tell you, money can buy you things that make life easier. Mm-hmm. And having money and being able to pay your bills is so rewarding. So, I can remember whenever I, started getting on my feet after my divorce finally, and I didn't have to struggle as much. And I was still working 2 jobs, but at that point I could have even quit the second job, but I chose not to because I liked having the ability to walk in and buy the paper towels. And I liked having the ability that if my kids said, I want to do this or I want to do that, I had no problem doing it. Mm-hmm. And I like that financial comfort. It's not about being rich. It's about being able to do it gives you a better quality of life in many ways, Yeah. And some people, when you say that, the first thing they think is, oh, you're rich if you have a good family. And, well, no shit. Duh. But I'm telling you, I've been rich and I've been poor, and one sucks a lot fucking more. And anyone that discounts that is full of fucking shit. I don't care what anybody says. It sucks to struggle. It is very hard, especially when you have mouths to feed. Especially if you're the only adult doing it and you have mouths to feed.
Yeah, that's why when you love someone, you want the best for them. Yes. You don't want them to struggle. You want them to have a full, prosperous life. And that's not discounting any kind of prosper.
And I don't think there's a problem with struggling when you're in your younger years, because I think it builds character, and I do think it makes things that you do earn feel better.
You learn the value of a dollar.
Yes. And so I'm not saying I don't want anyone to struggle. What I'm saying is when you get to the point that you realize you've been buying paper towels for years and not worrying about it, and you didn't even catch the moment it happened.
I made it.
Yes.
I made it.
I'm serious. And it's like the story I tell about when I was married. We never could afford any art on the walls, and I never had a decorated house because we were always broke. And my goal was to make sure that I had a home that reflected me and not reflected things my mom gave me because I couldn't afford things, or things that I had to buy at a garage sale for $0 or whatever. I wanted my home to reflect me and to be the things that I would want in my home, not what I settled for or whatever. And as you know, there is not a lot of space on these walls. No. And I've accomplished said
everywhere
task.
You can reach.
Pretty much. And I literally have had to stop buying stuff for the walls because I'm like, girl, you're out of control. You need no more. I'm a maximalist on my walls. Yeah. So anyway, that was kind of my thought for the day. And I put it in Facebook, and a lot of people had things to say about it, and everyone related to it. But a lot of I noticed the ex-single moms that have now come out of it also. And they're like, girl, I got PTSD from those years. And I was like, I know I do, because I've talked about it before, where I did it today. I was going to buy a heater for the plants, and I knew I was going to spend maybe $200 or so, and I kind of was like, I don't even want to look at my bank account, because I've been spending all week. I mean, I've got stuff for Zoll's room last weekend. I bought some wallpaper. I've been kind of freely spending, without thinking about it. And I hadn't even looked at my account because I have PTSD and I'm scared.
I'm scared, y'all.
And then I looked at it and I was like, girl, you're so stupid. Like, what is wrong? And I might add, I had a pretty big check in my purse I've had for a week. I got it Monday. And I did not put it in the bank till today, because I deposited on my phone, because I swear I have PTSD, and I was afraid to look at my account before I put it in.
Yeah. That's how
I literally had money in my hand. It's definitely it's so stupid. I'm scared of nothing.
Yeah. Well, it's understandable. The things that we go through, that's where we get that,
no one really
trauma
talks about
from.
that. No one talks about the fact that not only do the kids get trauma from it, because they do, they do. You hear about it where you're like, oh, you're allowed to just go in the pantry and eat anything you want. That's a household that doesn't get paper towels, and it sucks, So I think there really is more to be said for the poor parent or person. Sometimes it's not a parent that has to do that. And so that was my little 4:53 a.m. thought yesterday.
Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
All right, so I know that I'd mentioned that I don't diet during the holidays, just like I don't set New Year's resolutions, because I don't set myself up for failure. But I don't diet during the holidays, and I didn't. So before the holidays, I had been all last year I was on a fitness journey, and I ended up losing about 30 pounds last year from, I think, May or June, starting in May or June. And so I was very happy with that. And I was not going to diet through the holidays, though, because that's too hard to do, and I didn't even have to worry about it. And I'm at a point now where I don't worry about what I eat. I eat healthy, and I enjoy the things that I want to enjoy, but I don't restrict myself or anything like that, because I have struggled with eating disorders my whole life.
Yeah.
So I try not to do anything to any extreme now, because I know better. Yeah. So I just try to be as healthy as I possibly can.
Which basically you were doing a lot of walking.
Yeah, and I just stay active.
And you're watching what you eat, but you were eating. You're making good choices.
Yeah. So what I do now is I intermittent fast, basically, because I don't eat after dinner, and then I usually don't eat until about noon. So that's when I start, have my first meal. And it works with me because I'm never really hungry in the morning anyways, so I'm not going to waste, just eat to eat. Usually I'm very productive in the mornings doing things that need to get done, and just getting right into work mode, basically. Yeah. And then once I start feeling hungry, I know it's about lunchtime. And so I just kind of listen to my body more. And then I try to move more. So either I'm going for a walk every day, or I'm at least moving my body and doing things. And anything to get my heart rate up. So that you can basically do squats, or, whatever can get your heart rate up.
Right.
And so there's lots of things that can get your heart rate up. Anyways, so going into the holidays, I just was going to enjoy myself and not even think about it. And I did that very well. And so right after Christmas, I was finally I'm going to go ahead and weigh myself, because I've made it through I've made it through Thanksgiving and Christmas and everything. So weighed myself, and I weighed myself, and I hadn't gained anything, or had I lost anything. I stayed the exact same.
Oh, that's great.
Which in my mind was even okay, don't freak out if it's 5 pounds or something like that. It's not a big deal. It's been a few months, but no, I stayed the exact same. And I was wow, I was very proud of myself, because I was obviously I'm listening to my body, and I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing without even worried about it. And so I told Dante, because he was in the room when I was telling him I was weighing myself, and I hadn't gained anything. I was like, "Isn't that cool?" And he's like, "Yeah." I was like, "All that dancing down at the Pink Pony Club is really paying off for me." And I was laughing, because that's my new favorite song.
Yes.
And I hum it, and I sing it in my head all day, and I'm dancing around the house literally all day. And and he was like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, all that dancing down at the Pink Pony Club is keeping me fit." And he was like, "Where's that?" I was like,
he's never heard
I
the
was
song.
like, I was like, the Pink Pony Club. And he's like, yeah, where's that at? I was like, West Hollywood. And I was like, babe, it's a song. He's like, oh. I was like, did you really think I was dancing down at the Pink Pony Club? And he kind of just shrugged. And I was like, oh. He was like, I wouldn't put it past you.
The funny thing is he wouldn't even be mad. He's like, okay.
He was like, where's that at?
Yeah.
You didn't tell me you started this new job.
Yeah, are you getting money? What's going on?
I love that
That's
man.
so funny. Just like,
But that is
okay.
a perfect representation about how Dante is with me.
He's so relaxed.
He just doesn't put anything past me. He's like, I'm sure you have security. I'm sure you're fine.
That is a polar opposite.
Can
of
you let
Rick.
me know what night you work?
This is not.
Like, no, you can't come to the Pink Pony Club. That's not good for business.
That's funny.
And so he was like, okay, well, show me your routine. I was like, all right.
It's opposite for me. I can't dance to save my life, but I sure do make Rick dance a lot.
Well, somebody's got to
And
dance.
he does it. I'm not, he will entertain me
tell
in
you.
a funny way. Like we're laughing hysterically at each other, but yeah, it's funny. It's the opposite going on with us. You know,
Whatever works.
whatever works. I lately have been like getting on this. I've been homesick. So I came down with another kidney infection. Thank you, perimenopause. And so I have not been feeling good. And so I've been trying to take it easy. And so I've been laying in bed. And that is very not me. And so laying in bed so much, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok. And, your algorithm knows you. It follows you.
Oh, yeah.
So you see kind of the same things sometimes on them. And one of them are these short reels are what they're called. And the short reels are like kind of like those K-operas, like they're like the soap opera, Korean soap operas. And they're like short miniature stories.
Yeah.
And it usually has a protagonist. And usually someone's really rich and somebody's being treated bad, but they're secretly the rich one.
Yeah.
Okay, so a few years ago, got on my algorithm, and I'm all about it. They had like captions, and I'm like,
all right, you know me better than I do.
I'm like, she's got a point. I see where she's coming from, And so I'm like, now there's an American version, and it is just, it might be more cheesy. I'll be honest, it is so cheesy. And it is so over the top, and it's very low budget, and every single story is a really rich person that no one knows is rich. Mm-hmm. And then the other people are going to be like, there's people treating them bad. They're secretly the nicest person who's also really rich. And there's always one person that sees the good in them and thinks they're poor, but still takes care of them.
Yeah.
I'm on like short story number 5, all with the same storyline. You're supposed to pay to watch the whole thing. So they get you and they show you literally like 5 minutes of the thing. But that's all you're going to see. Mm-hmm. And now you're hooked. And I'm like, I'm not fucking paying to see this. So I'll just watch all the little clips and then mentally I can put it together. But it never shows you the end.
Yeah.
And now I'm just stuck. I got to see them. I got to know what's going on. And so I was reading the comments one day, and most of them don't even have it where you can comment.
Yeah.
So you can't even be like, y'all, it costs $20. Like And sometimes though, there'll be one that has comments and people, or maybe it's somebody reposting them, mm-hmm. and everyone's like, oh my God, what's the end? And somebody will tell you what the end is. Or they'll
we
be
love
like,
that person.
Yeah. Or they'll send you a link. They'll put a link where you can get it for free. And I actually got to watch one of them for free. It is the worst acting. It is the worst costumes, the worst set, the worst storyline.
And you're hooked.
And I cannot stop watching this shit. And I just want to know.
You are their target audience.
I am. And I love reading the comment ones because I can see we're all in agreement. They're really bad.
Oh, my God.
In fact, one girl, one of the current storylines was about an heiress that moved to a new high school. None of these people are clearly in high school either. They're obviously all like mid-20s. And, so someone was pretending to be her and blah, 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 blah. That's the one I got to see the end of. And so I'm reading the comments on that one, and people are so funny because they're just like all over it. Like they said, oh, he drives a Ferrari, and they pull up in a Porsche. And everyone in the comments like, that's not even a Ferrari. Like, why don't they just say Porsche?
Yeah.
And they were like, probably because they probably recorded the scene and then they couldn't afford a Ferrari for the scene of just that in the background. Because they put the two together. I don't know. And on that one of the girls was actually kind of a good actress. And everybody was like, I don't even know how to handle someone knowing how to act. Anyways, it's become my life. I have been watching it nonstop. I'm addicted to them, really. And they get a little sexy sometimes.
Ooh.
And not in a good way. It's extremely cringe. It's extremely cringe. So one of them...
Oh, that was such a fast switch up.
Yeah. The one of them that's going right now is the current secretly rich one is a guy pretending to be homeless. Oh. And he is the worst fake beard you've ever... It's like junior high play shit. He's the worst fake beard ever. And he's pretending to be homeless, and because he's secretly a billionaire, I don't know why he's homeless. And and the cute girl that was secretly giving him free food from her job and taking care of him is engaged, and she works at a burger place, and she gives him a burger, and then she goes back to the drive-thru, and her fiance drives up, and some chick is giving him head as he drives up in the drive-thru, and he's not like surprised because he got caught getting head. Apparently he was prepared for that to be in the drive, but he went through his girlfriend's drive-thru, or his fiance, and he was like, "Oh, I thought you were off today."
Oh my God.
Like any other day,
right?
It wouldn't have been a big deal. And then the girl's like the cousin. I don't know. And then the boy, she brings home the homeless guy. She marries him. I'm still thinking he's homeless. It's a long story. So he goes in and takes a shower. Of course, she accidentally sees him nude. His body is stupid good. He's obviously trying to be a real actor, and he's keeping in shape. And he suddenly shaves, and he's like got this jawline. It's so fucking bad. And I love it.
Love it. Oh my gosh.
So that's what I've been doing all week.
Thank you.
This wasn't a catching up section, by the way. No. But we just started talking about like we got catching up to do, but really we just have a lot of. This is like us at lunch. This is like a lunch conversation.
You're welcome.
I want everyone to know that I like stupid shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how are we going to know about all the stupid shit if you don't tell us?
I know.
I would never know.
You would know about it.
I would never know that this was a thing.
I highly recommend that everybody listen and watch it. And pay for it and then tell me what happened.
And what did you say that it was on? What are you watching this on?
It's on, what's the name of it again? Let me see. It's short reels.
I know, but what platform are you watching?
All of them.
Oh, it's on all of them?
I can't get
short
away.
Reels? Oh,
now
gosh.
that they know
you gotta see it on everything.
Now that they know I'll fall down that rabbit hat, they cannot stop throwing hats at me. It's every other fucking thing on my feed. And so I'm funny. Like, okay, what'd Veronica do? That bitch. And they're like awful to each other. Like the girl will be like, "You're just a whore and a bitch." And like these rich women are slapping their maid.
Oh my God.
They're like, "She deserves it." And I'm just like, she was like, "I can't quit because they're going to give my mom a kidney." Where the fuck are they going to get a kidney? So they got to slap around the maid? I don't understand. Anyways, I love it.
I'm so confused and somehow so enthralled
I know
at the
you
same
want to
time.
watch them.
I really don't know what to do with my emotions.
I would like
right
people
now.
to let me know I'm not the only one going down this rabbit hole.
Well, I can't do that for you. But
y'all let me know, listeners.
I hope someone can. I really hope there's someone.
I was just like, I'm so lame. This is where I am in life.
Oh, welcome. Welcome.
You got anything else that we need to throw into the chat box?
Chat box. No, not really. I mean, I have some other things, but if we can go ahead and move into social media, I guess, if you want to.
All right, well, let's talk
Do you have any comments or messages from listeners that you need to?
Good old Julie, one of our besties here, sent me a funny message, and she said because of me talking about Consuela, she had never heard of it. So she looked up the Consuela stuff, and she was like, shit, I'm in trouble now, girl. I may be buying everything. It's so cute. I was like, I know.
Welcome to your new addiction.
I know. And then we've been a little slow at work, and so the other day I looked up, what's it called? I was just doing stuff for the podcast. Like I was, looking on some of our other sites that we're shown on, not just our Buzzsprout, which is who hosts us. And I realized that I wasn't signed up for this one site. And so I signed up for this one site and I went and looked. And we had a comment on it. Because the thing with these is that you don't really get reviews. Really, Apple's the only way to leave a review, which we appreciate when y'all do that. So
Yes,
if you haven't done that, please do. But when there's not really a way to get a review, and we like them because we like feedback. Because if you're like, if every review is like, hey, we really like it when you do this, we're going to take that into consideration.
Yeah.
Or we didn't like that. Yeah, you can message that privately. But, you know, we like to see what the reviews are. It also helps move us in like Apple, on Apple. And if you leave a review, it's more likely like kind of pop up in people's algorithm as podcasts they might want to listen to.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where, and if you follow us instead of just finding us each time, then that also helps with that.
Yes.
And so it was a guy that left the review, and it was like, I really enjoyed this podcast. I think his name was James. He was like, I really enjoyed this podcast. I literally have been laughing out loud. I've caught myself like laughing out loud at this episode is cracking me up. And I don't know which episode it was. I don't know who the guy is. But I was like, I love when I just get a surprise little review like that.
Yeah.
So that was cool. But have I been sucking at our Facebook page? Yes,
I'm going to guess yes.
Just follow me on mine. Okay, y'all? I'm trying.
So go ahead and give your socials.
So on Facebook, I am Zada Owens, ZADAOWENS. And on, in fact, I need to make sure I'm not set wrong. I was for a bit set kind of private because I was getting sued because of a car accident.
Yeah.
And they told me just to set everything on private. Everything's fine now. It's all done. I didn't do anything wrong, y'all.
She's out of the corner now.
Yeah. I mean, lady got me. Anyway, so I need to make sure they're not off, but I'll make sure they are because I have a lot of listeners on there, so they must be where they can find me. And anyways, and then so I'm Zada Owens on there, and I am Z Mamacita on Instagram, and we do have a Facebook. I'm gonna really try to be more consistent on, and that is Two Sides and the Truth. I often post the links to it on my page too.
Yeah.
But if you want to follow us, I'm supposed to be doing the Facebook one. I suck ass at it. And Kelly does the Instagram one.
And I'm not much better.
But you are better.
I at least try to make sure I always post when we have a new episode to, stimulate that and so that people know that it's dropped and it is. Because sometimes we upload on different days of the week.
Yeah.
Our schedule is very fluid.
It's supposed to be more consistent. I'm going to tell you right now, everybody says in the podcast world, you're supposed to put it at the same time every week. It's something to expect. Y'all, that just doesn't fit my world.
I'm sorry. We're just not about that life.
I don't really need to explain that because if you're a regular listener, you know.
Yeah, you know.
If I did it consistent, you'd be like, someone has taken over.
Yeah, that's very true.
You'd be right.
This is not Zada anymore.
No, I'm too free-spirited for that.
Yeah, but on Instagram, it is Two Sides and the Truth. And so you can follow our Instagram. My Instagram is Kelly Lady Pearl. So I'm on Instagram. You can follow me. I have a public profile. I also have a Snapchat. So that's something that I wanted to talk to you about. So on my Snapchat, it is currently popping off. And by popping off, I mean I have a lot of people who are adding me currently. And this all stemmed from... So I made a public profile. I try to keep all of my social media public because it is for, and I'm trying to help grow like the podcast and things like that. So I am not that I'm anti-social media. I think social media has lots of great qualities. It entertains me. I like it. But I tend to keep myself private. I don't really post a lot. But I try to do what I can for the social media and for the podcast. So I've tried to broaden my horizons and step more into the content creator role, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So when you are a content creator, you want things to grow. You want people to follow you. You want people to add you. You want people to view things. You want people to like things, and you want people clicking buttons because that's what gets paid. That's what you get paid for. You get paid for views, and you get paid for likes, and you get paid for people clicking buttons.
Yeah, and it's the same for us with the podcast. We, the more downloads we have, the better it looks.
Yeah, the more clicks you get, the more money you get.
Yeah.
The more exposure that you get, it puts you in the green. You want those things.
Yeah.
So it's very hard for me to go along with that, though, because I'm so hardwired for if things get crazy and busy like that, I tend to delete them. Like I've deleted a Facebook because I had too many people, and I deleted my Snapchat before because it's gotten too many people. But when you're trying to grow a platform, you have to just let it grow. And it can be overwhelming. It's a little overwhelming to me, but you have to just let it grow.
Yeah.
And since I have a public Snapchat, anybody can add me and they can view anything that I put public. But most of my things I do put public because I'm wanting to grow that platform. And so I think it was McKenna had posted a public story, and people can view public stories, and I had a couple people add me off of the public story. And then once a couple people add you, it puts you in more people's who might know you. Like it'll be like, oh, you might know this person. And since I have a public profile, it's not just a little, icon or like a little cartoon person. It actually shows my picture. And so people have been adding me. I had like 5 ads, turns into 10 ads, turns into 20, turns into 50, turns into 100, turns into... So now currently I'm getting like a couple, I think like 1,000 a day probably. Like if I'm going in there and adding people, like I don't have to add them back, but it stimulates your growth. So just going into it and adding the people who have added me or whatever, or posting to the public profile it's a lot. Just going in then and adding everybody.
Does anyone ever like show up, like you've added all these people and you can see their stuff now, right?
If I wanted to, yeah.
Okay, do you ever, this could have happened in the past too, not necessarily right now, ever see somebody that you don't know this person from Adam, but you added each other at some point for some reason, and now you feel like you know the person, but you don't really know the person?
I've had that before, yeah.
I feel like and there was a lady.
Not on Snapchat, because I don't really view anything on Snapchat, but like on Instagram, I have people that
Yes,
that I
and that's where it is
I know
on
them
Instagram
now.
for me and Facebook, I guess, because I have people that are friends of friends and whatever, and then I have listeners on both of them. So like some of our listeners, I feel like I know a lot about their lives, and I enjoy. I'm like that person's cool. Like Amy Probst, I love following her. I love seeing all the cool shit she does, And sometimes they're going through hard times, and I really have empathy for them. And I even think I would like to comment, "I'm sorry" or whatever. Yeah. And then I think, is it weird I'm commenting because I don't even know this person?
Right.
I mean, like that's my podcast lady I listen to. You know what I mean? So then I feel weird if I do it.
Yeah.
But there's this one chick in that I follow. I've been following on Instagram for years, like 10 years, because I've been on Instagram since the beginning of it. And she is a beautiful black woman, and she's a very dark black woman, shaved head, literally wears like things through her nose, like crazy things through her nose, whatever. She's stunningly beautiful. And she's married to a white cowboy, and she lives on a ranch, and she's obsessed with snakes too. She's so unusual and stunning, and I just love everything. I love everything. I love it all. She's an artist. She's cool as shit, man. Don't know this one. I don't know her real name. I don't even know her name. I just know her handle on fucking Instagram, and I feel like I've watched this girl grow up from like a 20-year-old to a 30-year-old. That's what.
That's social media, right?
That is social media right there.
It is.
She's probably looking at it going, when did I add this old white lady? Like,
I don't know. Maybe she feels the same way about you. She's like, this crazy ass woman out in Texas.
Yes. I followed a young black guy, and I don't remember.
Can't keep forks to save her life.
No, yeah. I followed a young black guy on Instagram years ago, and he did something funny, and he's a cowboy also, and he's in like Mississippi. And I have followed this boy from graduating high school, going through college, dating this beautiful girl, getting engaged, getting married, and now they have a baby together. And he will comment on my shit, and I will comment on his. And I do not know this man from Adam. And he has a child. I mean, he's a child to me. You know what I mean?
I love it.
I love social media. Sometimes I hate it.
It is quite. It baffles my mind, and I think that's why I kind of shut down to it. Is because I can't. Yeah. I can't wrap my.
I start feeling like the auntie.
It.
Like I got you, niece and nephews.
I love
that I've never met that don't know who the hell I am either. Just saying. That's who we are. Well, that's all for today. Thank you for joining us. Maybe come back next week and bring a friend.
Yeah. And remember, there's always 3 sides to every story.
2 sides and the truth.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.
coming